Hi, I'm Simon from the Marrickville Yoga Centre, and this is a 6-lesson beginners course, and it's based on the course that we teach here at the Marrickville Yoga Centre. It's for students who have no experience of yoga, so we start right at the very beginnings, but it's also very helpful if you have done some yoga but you want to go back and really look at some of those foundation poses and how to do them properly. If you've got injuries or medical conditions, first check with your doctor whether yoga is an appropriate thing to do, or find a certified teacher, an experienced teacher that can help guide you through. The type of yoga we're looking at today is based on the Iyengar method, and it really comes from that tradition. So today we're going to jump in right at the very, very start, and each week we'll build a little bit on from there. So let's jump on the mat and get started. You're going to stand with your feet hip width apart, and I'm going to get you to actually look down with your eyes and see that your feet are parallel and they're about as wide as your hips apart. Then I want you to stand up straight, bring your shoulders back, your head back, so your weight comes into your heels. Lift up your toes. Notice how the weight comes more towards the heels. So now we're standing more to the back of the feet. Let the toes release down. Lift your chest up, so your armpit chest here lifts up and moves forward. Have your hands by your side. Measure the weight between your feet. So try and stand evenly on both feet. Turn your hands towards the front and let your chest move forward. Now we're going to take the arms up. Bring your weight back into the heels. Inhale, lift your arms up. Press your heels down. Exhale, take your arms down to the side. Stand evenly between your left and your right foot. Bring your weight back into the heels. Inhale. Now lift up the sides of your chest and exhale, arms down to the side. I'm just going to show you from the side. Bring the head back and the shoulders back means that this armpit chest area can move forward. Let's do that again, raising the arms up, Virabhadrasana. Weight into the heels. Inhale. Exhale, arms to the side. Inhale. Exhale, arms to the side. Now the next thing we're going to do is to take your fingers, interlock them and extend them away. Start with them at shoulder height. Bring your weight back into the heels, bring your knees back, bring your thighs back. Inhale. Take your arms up. Exhale, bring your arms down. Now just change the cross of your fingers, the other finger in front. Extend your fingers away. Raise your chest up, take your head back, weight into the heels, back of the knees, back of the thighs open. Inhale. Open your chest. Exhale, bring your arms down. Just going to do Virabhadrasana a couple of times again, a little quicker. Weight back into the heels. Inhale. Press the heels down, bring your knees back, bring your thighs back, lift the sides of your chest, exhale. Inhale, chest up, exhale, arms to the side. Now we're going to go to Tadasana with the feet together. So look down, step your feet together, so the inner edges of your heels and your big toe base are touching. Lift your toes up. So lift the toes up and extend from the arch of your foot forward. With the toes up, notice the weight is again more back into the heels. Let the toes release down. Press the fronts of your thighs back, fronts of your knees back. Lift your chest up. Roll your shoulders down and back. Keep your eyes looking straight ahead, not up. Not down, but straight ahead. Take your back ribs into the body to open your chest. I'm just going to show you again from the side how that looks. Arms by the side, lifting the toes up, the weight comes back into our heels. Open the backs of the knees, by pressing the fronts of the thighs back. Take the buttocks and slightly roll it down and forward against the thighs, pushing back. Arms by the side. Take the back ribs in and raise the chest up. Shoulders, move them back and down. Keep the head so it's in line with the shoulders, in line with the back waist. Eyes looking straight ahead. Now I'm going to ask you to do one more thing here. In Tadasana, close your eyes. Close your eyes and notice the movement. Notice how your weight shifts. It moves from one leg to the other leg. Let your eyes open. Now you're going to step your feet again hip width apart. Raise your chest up. When your feet are apart, you're more steady. You can feel more clearly both feet. Now I want you to feel your inner heel and your outer heel on both feet and press them down. Bring your weight back, knees back, thighs back. Inner and outer heel press down. Big toe base and little toe base press down. So that's the four corners of your feet. On each foot, feel that those 4 points are equally down. Now bring your feet together and see if again you can find those four corners of the feet. Inner heel, outer heel. Big toe base, little toe base. Let your weight sit evenly across those four corners of the feet. One more time, close your eyes. Observe the weight, how it shifts, the movement there, but you become more clear about the soles of your feet. Open your eyes and step your feet hip width apart. Now you're going to just watch me for the next part of it. So I'm going to demonstrate, you're going to watch, and then we'll do it together. So you're going to be starting by jumping the feet apart. Now if you have problems with knees or backs, I'll get you to step and I'll show that in a moment. But just watching everyone at this stage. Your hands will come up. You're going to bend your knees and you're going to jump. When you jump, you're taking your legs a leg length apart. So the distance between my feet is ideally about as long as one of my legs. So if you have jumped out and you're a bit short, we'll get you to take your feet a little further out. You'll be extending the arms out. You'll bring the hands back up. You'll bend your knees and you'll jump back in. Now, I said stepping, so it's a similar way. We take the arms up, but we step one foot, we step the other foot out, and then we take the arms out. To come back in, you bring the arms up, you step one leg in, the other leg in, and you bring your hands down. Just watch one more time that action of jumping the feet apart. Take the hands in front of the chest, bend the knees, and jump. Take your hands to your hips. Now you're going to look down at the distance between your legs. So a leg length between the inside edges of your feet. If you need to go wider at this point, just take your feet a little bit wider so you've got a leg length. If you're taller, the distance is longer. If you're not as tall, it'll be a little shorter distance. Now extend your arms. Bring your hands to your chest. Bend your knees. Jump your feet back. When we come back, we're bringing the feet back together. The inner heel, the big toe base. Stand back into your heels. Raise the chest up. Bring your hands to your chest. Bend your knees and jump. Hands to the waist. Look down, see the distance. Also, see that your feet are facing, both of them, straight forward to the front. Not one leg turned out, not one foot turned out. Extend the arms. Press the outside edges of your feet to the floor. So that's that outer heel, little toe side of the foot on both sides. Press down. Extend your arms and lift your chest. Hands to your chest. Bend your knees and jump. As we land when we jump in and as we land when we jump out, keep your knees a little bent. So it's a soft landing. So I'm just going to go through that and we'll do it. And just watch once and then we'll do it together. So as I go up, I bend the knees. As I land, the knees bend. So it makes it a soft landing. When I come back in, the arms are up, I jump, and the knees stay a little bent. Or continue the stepping approach to taking the feet out. Hands to the chest, bend the knees, jump, bend your knees as you land. Hands up, bend the knees, again bend them as you land. So that brings us to landing lightly and softly. It also creates a kind of lightness of movement. Now step your feet hip width apart. We're going to now go to the first of the standing poses. And I'm going to demonstrate, and I'll get you just to watch so you kind of see the shape of the pose at this point. So we're going to be taking the feet apart, jumping, or those who are working on stepping, you'll step the feet apart. Bring your hands to your chest, bend your knees, arms and legs together, jump out. Take your hands to your waist. Now look at your distance between your legs. So if you need to, take the legs wider until they're one leg length apart. Your feet at this stage are facing straight to the front. Now, we're going to turn one leg out, so just still watch me rather than do at this point. So I'm turning this right leg out to the side. I'm going to straighten my arms straight out from the shoulders, keeping the legs straight, the arms straight. I'm going to take the right hand down onto my shin. Notice the legs are still straight, top arm is straight, bottom arm is straight. From there, we'll come back up, we'll turn, and we'll do the other side. I'm going to come back to the center so we can do that together. So the first of these standing poses is Trikonasana. Stand in Tadasana, feet together. Use your eyes to see, because sometimes you really need to look in the beginning to see whether your feet are together. Sometimes one foot will be off or one foot will be further behind. Inner heels, big toe base touching. Standing on the four corners of your feet. Knees back, thighs back, raise your chest up. Bring your hands to your chest, bend your knees, jump the feet apart. If you're stepping, you just keep working on stepping. Take the hands to your hips. Look down at the feet. Check the distance, one leg length between the legs. Now we're just going to work on this front leg today. So you're going to turn the heel towards the center, then I'm going to turn the whole thigh outwards. So this right leg is facing the side wall. Extend your arms. Outside edge of your left foot, your back leg, press it down. So I want you to really push the heel into the floor, the outside edge of the foot to the floor. Hold that back foot down, keeping your arms straight, keeping your legs straight. Right hand down onto the shin. Now, it doesn't matter where you go. Some of you may go a little lower if this front leg is straight. Some of you may be a little higher as long as this front leg is straight. Doesn't matter where you get to at this point. Front leg straight, back leg straight, top arm up. Press into your back foot to come up. This back leg really has to anchor and hold you in place. Press the right heel, left heel down. Go down, go down, go down to where you can reach. Right hand on the shin. Notice the thumb comes on the inside of the shin, the fingers go around the edge. Keeping the legs straight. If you can go lower, but without bending that front leg, go a little lower. Top arm extends up. Now keeping the legs straight, press into the feet to come up. Turn the front foot in. Take the hands to the waist. Now we're going to turn the left leg out. Lift up your heel, turn it towards the center, then turn the whole thigh out. Extend the arms. Back leg is straight, toes are facing forward. Front leg, left leg now. The knee, the foot and the thigh are facing side. Then bring your trunk back to the front. Front leg is straight, back leg is straight. Really press this right heel down into the floor. Exhale, go down to where you can without bending the left leg or bending the right leg. Hand to the shin, thumb on the front, fingers on the outside, top arm straight. Keep the legs straight, press and come up. Press the outside edge of the right foot down. Right knee, right thigh, press it back. Really hold that outside edge of your back foot on the right as you go down, left hand down, Left hand to the shin, thumb on the inside, fingers on the outside. Left leg straight, arms straight. Keeping the legs straight, press into the feet to come up. Turn your left foot to the center. Open your chest. Bring the arms up. Elbows are at shoulder height. Bend your knees. Swing the arms around to come back to Tadasana. Step your feet hip width apart. Raise your chest up. Release your jaw. Release your tongue. Close your mouth so your breath comes through the nose. In yoga, we breathe through the nose. It helps to keep the breath more steady, more calm. So come back to Tadasana, feet together, inner heels touching, big toe base touching. Lift the chest, take your shoulders back, keep your head in line with your shoulders at the back. Press the fronts of your knees back, press the fronts of the thighs back. Raise the chest. Feel your back ribs. I'll show you from the side again. These are your back ribs. Really let them come forward into the body. Chest, there, this is the chest area, sternum area. Lift that up towards the ceiling. So this chest area is full. Very important in a yoga way that this area remains lifted and full of life. So we're going to jump or step the feet apart again for Trikonasana. Hands up, bend the knees, arms and legs extend. Hands to the waist. Look down, distance, a leg length. Take your legs a little wider if you need more length between the feet. Right leg, turn the heel to the center, then from the hip, roll the thigh out. Extend the arms, both legs straight. Left heel, press it down. Exhale, go down, hand to the shin, top arm up. Now press into the feet, come up. Go down, press into the feet, come up. Ideally, you feel like the leg or the feet are heavy and almost glued into the floor. Go down, press into the feet, come up. One more time. Go down, top arm up, extend up that top arm, lift it up towards the ceiling, press into the feet, and come up. Hands to the waist. Turn your right foot to the center. Left leg, turn the toes out first, then turn the thigh, so the whole knee, thigh, shin are facing the side wall. Extend the arms. Legs straight, arms straight. Outside edge of your right foot, hold it onto the floor. Go down. Press into the feet. Come up. Go down, press into the feet, come up. Feet as if glued to the floor. Legs, keep them straight as you move up and down. Go down, press into the feet, come up. Go down, press into the feet, and come up. Turn your left foot to the center. Extend your arms, hands to your chest, bend your knees, jump your feet back together. Have a look down. If you need to, adjust the feet, bring them back together. Inner heel, big toe base. So that's the inner edge of your feet. Keep them together and keep them both down. Now your outer heel, bring that down by bringing your weight back. Little toe base of your foot, press it down. Lift up your toes. And extend your arches forward, extend your toes forward like you're lengthening the skin on the soles of the feet. And let the toes release down. Eyes straight. Back ribs in. Front of the legs back. Buttocks, just push it forward against the front of the legs going back. And now lift the chest. Now we're going to do a resting pose. Stand with your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Start with your hands on your thighs. You're going to keep your legs straight. We can do this together. You're going to go forward, forward, forward. Now that may be enough, but I want you to keep the legs straight. If you can go lower, you'll slide a little further down. I'm going to show you from the side. So hands are on the thighs, my legs are straight, I'm going down. Now that may be enough. Some of you may go a little further down, but the legs still straight. If you can, if your legs are still straight, take your fingers to the floor. But don't take your fingers to the floor if you have to bend the knees. Better to have your hands here and your chest a little more forward to support yourself that way. Otherwise, if you're able to, if your legs can stay straight, keep them straight and fingertips to the floor. Let the back of your knees open, spread, move them back. Show you with the hands on the shins, chest forward. Now just everyone release the head down. Wherever you are, let the head and neck release down. Soften your jaw. Let the back of your head release. Now press into your feet and come up. Now we're going to go to the next standing pose. So I just want you to, again, just to watch. If you're quite tired now, if your legs are tired, just sit on the floor for a moment and just watch from that sitting position, because we've already started to do a little bit more in the legs and you mightn't quite be used to that. So good opportunity now, if you feel like it, just sit for a moment. Watch me demonstrate the next pose and then we'll do it together. The next pose is called Baddha Konasana. We'll be going into it in the same way, jumping the legs apart. Take the hands to your chest, bend your knees and jump the feet apart. Take your hands to your hips. This pose is a little bit wider in distance than the last pose, so you actually have to have your feet a little wider apart. I'm going to turn this right leg out, heel to the center, turn the thigh out. Now, in this pose, I'll be bending the front leg. You'll be extending the arms. You'll be bending this front leg to make a square. So you look at the shape of the leg to make like a half a square. Then you're going to take your fingertips down to the floor and your top arm at this stage up to the ceiling. My head and shoulders are still back in line with the back of my body. I'll press to come up. I'll show you the other side so you can see. Turn the back leg in, toes facing forward. Turn the whole of the left leg out. Extend the arms. Bend the legs. Take the hands down, fingertips to the floor, top arm up. Now I'm just going to take my hands off here. I want you to have a look at my front leg. Can you see that the knee is in line over the ankle? So that's important here. If it's not, I can take this back leg back. So I'm just going to show you a little thing here. If my distance is too short, and you'll have to recognize this yourself because I can't see you. So as a teacher, a lot of my teaching would be normally I see what someone's not doing or a group's not doing, and then I'll give instructions. In this format of teaching, you have to kind of guess a little bit what I'm saying, and I can't interpret that. So it's a little different from a normal class. So if I was to bend my knee, and I don't have enough distance, one, I can't sink down very far because there's no real space to bend this leg, but also there's a lot of pressure on this knee, which isn't a good thing. So if I was to then take the back leg a little further back, now I can sink down and there's a lot less pressure on the knee. Any knee problems, this is really important, that you have good space to sink down. If you look here also, how much I'm sinking that thigh down and come up. Turn to the center and you'll jump the feet back. Come up to standing. We'll do that together. Feet together, inside edges of the feet touching, toes extending forward. Raise your chest up, arms by your side. Bring your hands to the chest, bend your knees, jump the feet apart. Hands down, check the distance, look at the length between your legs. Also, just make sure your feet are in the same line. Like, don't let one foot be further to the front than the other. If you were kind of at the front of the mat, both the toes would touch that front edge. Now, turn, front leg, heel in, roll the thigh out. So if you look here, my knee and shin were facing this way. The back leg is still predominantly facing the front. Extend the arms. Now we're going to bend the front leg. When you bend, I want you to bend from here, this crease of the thigh, bend, bend, bend. Now your fingertips to the floor. If they're nearly there but not quite, bend a little more. Take your top arm up. Press into the heels and come up. Drop your hands to the waist. Turn your right leg in. Turn the whole of your left leg out. Extend the arms. Open your chest. Bend your left leg. Check the knee doesn't go past the ankle. Bend the left thigh down, sink down, sink down. Then take your left fingertips to the floor. Head and shoulders, lean them a little back. Take the top arm up. Press into the feet and come up. Hands to the chest, jump back. So that's the basic shape of the pose. Main thing I want you to look for yourself is, are you taking enough distance? Knee and shin bone and ankle is what you need to really measure. Is your knee in line over your shin and over your ankle? Are you forming this right angle between the legs? Let's do it again together. Tadasana. Raise your chest up. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your hands to your chest. Bend your knees. Jump. Hands to the waist. Look at the distance. We'll just keep doing this a lot in the beginning because it's your eyes that are going to really tell you the truth about whether you've made the right choice with distance. And in the beginning, your legs are stiff for all of us. So we jump out and that feels like it's a long way. But for me, again, that's too short. So I would need to take my feet wider. So we start to open up through the legs, through the groins to make that space. Turning the right leg out, heel to the center. Turn the right leg out. Extend the arms. Bend the right leg. Take the fingertips to the floor. Top arm up. Sink a little further down the right buttock. With your arm, push this right knee towards the back of the room. Extend your top arm up. Back leg is straight. Press into the feet. Come up. Turn to the center. Turn your left leg out. So turn the heel to the center, the left leg out. Back leg, thigh bone back, knee back, heel out. Extend the arm. Bend the left leg. Sink the thigh down. Knee in line over the ankle, shin upright. Take back leg back if you need more distance. Fingertips down to the floor and push away from the floor. Top arm up. With your arm, push that left knee a little back. Don't let it roll forward. Push the knee back. Sink a little further down. Back leg straight. Extend the top arm up. Press into the feet. Turn to the center. Open the chest. Hands to the front. Bend the knees. Jump back to Tadasana. Now we're going to rest again in Uttanasana. Just watch for a moment. I'm going to actually get you to watch and I'll show you from the side. Standing with the feet hip width apart. Hands onto the thighs. Slowly go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. Now, you may not reach that far. You may be here if you're very stiff in the legs. You may be here. Then release your head. Those who can, you can take the hands a little further down and release the head, release the neck. So now if you take your feet apart, take your hands to your thighs and release yourself down. Hands wherever they reach, whether it's the shins, whether it's the ankles, legs straight, let the head release, let the neck release. Now, press into the feet and come up. Step the feet back together, Tadasana. Inner heels touching, big toe base touching, outer heel down, little toe side of the foot, that ball of the foot down, big toe side of the foot down. So again, the four corners of your feet press down. Raise your chest up. Stand back towards your heels. Keep your head and your shoulders up and back. So your chest is forward, your eyes are straight forward. Let your arms rest and extend, I wouldn't say rest, but also at this stage extend a little down so the hands remain by the sides of the legs. Chest up, eyes straight. Keep your mouth closed, let your breath be through the nose. Now we're going to just nearly finish with the standing poses for this session. We're going to do one more which is very similar to the one we just did. It's called Virabhadrasana Two. Step with your feet hip width apart and watch first. Wide distance, jump the feet apart. Hands to the hips. Check your distance. Toes in line. Outside edges of your feet down. Extend your arms. Arms, if you have a look to the side, are level with your shoulders. Chest forward. Now we're going to take the hands back down and just turn that right leg out. Heel to the center, roll the thigh out. Turn your trunk back to face the front. Just drop the hands for a moment. Just stay while I quickly show you the actual shape of the pose. So just watching me first. I'll extend the arms. I'll bend this front knee to make a square. So now thigh is going down like it was before, but now my trunk is upright in the middle and I'm bending the front leg down. The back leg remains straight and I'm going to turn my head to look along the front arm. I'll come back in and we'll do that now together. Virabhadrasana Two. If you're stepping your feet apart, you just keep doing that. I've said that in the beginning, but you just continue stepping the feet apart rather than jumping if that's what works better for you at this point. Hands to the chest, bend your knees, jump. Hands to the waist, turn the right leg out by turning the heel in, the thigh out. Extend the arms, shoulder width apart. Look straight ahead for a moment and bend the front leg, bend the right leg down, bend down, bend down. Just check that the shin is over the ankle. Bend down. Keep your trunk so your shoulders and your hips are in line. Now turn your head and look over the front. Press and come up. Hands to your waist. Turn your right foot in. Turn the whole of your left leg out. Lift your chest. To hold the arms, you have to keep this lifted. Chest up, armpit chest up. So we're going to keep our hands here this time, bend. Keep the chest up, chest up, chest up. Bend the left leg. Now extend your arms. Trunk, shoulders in line over the hips. So you can see here, this side of the trunk is upright. Then extend the arms, bend down, front leg, sink down. Back leg remains straight. Breathe. Press and come up. Turn, hands together, jump or step. feet together. Let's do that one more time. Virabhadrasana Two. Hands up, jump. Keeping the arms up this time, turn the right leg out. Knee, thigh, foot facing sideways. Bend the right leg, so bend the front thigh down, extend the arms. Bend down, bend down. Back leg is straight. Trunk in the middle. Now turn the head to look along the front arm. Come up. Keep the arms up. Right leg in. Turn the left leg out. Raise the chest. Bend the left leg. Bend the left thigh. Bend down. This side of your trunk up. Extend the arms. Look along the left arm. Right arm, right shoulder, right hip are in line. So I'm moving back this way. I'm moving this arm, this shoulder back as I bend down to look over the front leg. Breathe. Press. Come up. Turn to the center. Hands to the chest, bend the knees. Jump back. We're nearly there with the standing pose. We're going to do one more. A new one, but just so step with your feet apart. Watch me, and then we'll do it together. It's a wide distance. So you check the feet, check the distance. Now it's becoming more familiar. You know if you need to generally take a bit more distance. This pose, Prasarita Padottanasana, is the widest of all the standing poses. Important here that the feet are straight, facing the front. The outside edge of the feet are down. Hands on your hips. And then I'm going to go forward. Look forward. You're just still watching me at this point. Fingertips down. I'll come up. Press. Again, notice the feet. They're straight. Facing forward. The legs remain straight. And it's a big jump. Your hands come up. You bend. And you jump back. So let's do that together. Bring your feet together, heels together, big toe base together, lift up the toes, open the arches of your feet forward, stand evenly over both feet. Hands to your chest, bend your knees, jump. Take your hands to your hips, raise your chest up, take your back ribs in. From here, from your hip bones, all the way to your collarbones, make this part of your body long. So as you go forward, legs straight, hands are here. Go forward, look forward, eyes looking towards me. Press and come up. When we're bending from here. They're not bending, legs are just straight. Bend, chest forward, eyes forward. Press into the feet. Come up, have a look. Are the feet still both straight? Both feet, check that they're straight. Raise the chest up, long through this part of your chest. Go down, eyes forward, legs straight. Fingertips reach down to the floor. If you can't reach, take your hands to the shins or take your feet a little wider apart. Eyes forward, chest forward. Take your hands to your hips. Press, extend the arms, jump or step the feet back. Tadasana. Inner heels touching, big toe base touching. Roll the shoulders back. Back ribs in. Eyes quiet, face soft. Breath through your nose. Now, take your feet hip width apart. That was the first section of the class today. We're going to get something to sit on now. So here we are with some pieces of equipment. And all you need for today is something that resembles, I'm going to use 2 blankets. So I've just taken 2 blankets and folded them up like that. So you could use 2 towels, telephone book, cushion, whatever you need. While we're here, I'm going to mention for the next class a couple of pieces of equipment that would be really handy to use for the next class. One is a brick. Now this could be a piece of wood, it could be anything that resembles this shape. We use that a bit in the standing poses for some things, and I'll show you that next week. So anything that resembles this, these are kind of what they call yoga bricks, and they're like a hard foam. So there's that. There's also a belt. It's just we use like what I call yoga belt, which has a little strap. You could use a piece of rope. You could use some soft belt. So something that, if I undo it, is maybe 4.5 feet, something around that length. So that would be good if you can for the next class. And this is a little different. This is something a bit more specific. It's what we call a bolster. We use these for some of the quieter poses, so they're really good. Now, you can use 2 or 3 blankets and roll them up and resemble this kind of shape. You might have a couple of cushions that resemble something like that. But they're not so much for today, but I wanted to mention them for next week so we can have them. We're going to have 2 blankets, and we're going to sit on these blankets. Firstly, just crossing the legs. So you'll sit, and you're going to cross your legs in front of you. I'm just going to move my buttock flesh to the side so I sit on those buttock bones. Now, if your knees are way up here, which sometimes they will be, you might want to get an extra blanket. So the higher you sit, the more, if you're stiffer in the legs and the hips, which often we are in the beginning, sit up on lots of height. If you've got problematic knees and things, sit on lots of height, 3 or 4 blankets. I want your legs crossed in front of you. You can see they're crossed at the shin. Hands on your thighs, and you're going to raise your chest up. So we're just going to sit. Now I just want to mention something about the standing poses we just did. They're one of our real foundation groups of poses where we work from the feet, through the legs, into the hips and into the spine. They're very corrective. It's where we start correcting the body through those standing poses. Today we just looked at the very basics of them. Each week or each class, I'll add a little bit more to these poses, a bit more detail, a bit more what we call alignment, precision. And we're going to build on those, and we're going to add more poses as we go. Change the cross of your leg, put the other leg in front, and cross the legs that way. Hands on your thighs, and raise the chest up. Now I want you to take your legs and extend them forward. Feet just hip width apart. Put your hands, if you can, on the blanket and raise your chest up. So your legs are straight, chest forward. Now I'm just going to show you from the side what I want your back to be like. So sitting on that blanket, I'll just move it to the side so you can see. I want you to be, so your back is straight. So if I had a wall behind me, the back is straight. So you can see from the back, my spine's moving into the body. Legs are down, thighs are down, back of the legs are open, but this back waist area is in. So I'm going to use my hands just to push forward that way. I can turn your fingers back and push forward so you're not leaning back. Just to feel that a little more clearly, take your arms to the side. See if your body wants to sink back, which for a lot of us when we're stiff it will in the beginning. But see again, if you can bring the back waist in, press the thighs down, raise the arms up now, press the legs down, back waist in, lift up the sides of your chest and release. I'm going to turn back to the front. Now we're going to go to a different pose. I'm going to show you firstly from behind. I'm going to move my blankets almost to the back edge of my mat. I'm going to show you from the back first. My knees are together. You can't see them, but my knees are together. I'm going to put my feet outside that blanket, and I'm going to sit my buttocks down onto that blanket. So from the back, notice my feet I'm not sitting on my feet. They're outside the edges of the blanket. I'll show you from the front. Again, I'll take the blanket behind me. Knees are now, they don't have to be right together, but they are facing straight ahead. I'm going to sit on that blanket. If your buttocks doesn't reach down, grab something else, grab another blanket, grab anything, a book or 2 books or a few magazines, and build up that height between your buttocks and the blanket. So I want your buttocks to be resting down. Legs are straight back. This is Virasana. Take your hands onto your thighs and raise your chest up. This is a really good pose after that standing pose work. It's a good way to rest the legs. And also, it's really good for the ankles, the knees, the hips, because it helps to create flexibility in those areas. Because we sit in chairs, because we ride in cars, we end up getting quite stiff through all these areas. But it's really important that your ankles remain flexible, your knees flexible, your hips flexible. So these poses, these sitting poses, help us gain back some of that flexibility. If you have problems with the knees, sit on more height. So if you feel any discomfort, get more height, so you sit higher up. Interlock your fingers, extend the arms away, raise the chest up, take your back ribs in, bring your arms down, change the interlock of your finger, extend your arms away, chest up, shoulders down, take your arms up, lift the sides of the chest up, bring your arms down, hands by your thighs. We're going to take the legs forward again. So release one leg, release the other leg. Just take them a little wider apart this time. Get the back of the knees open. You can have your fingers either on the floor, or if that's too low, just reach back and push with your hands so you push your chest forward. Like I showed you from the side before, feel that your back is in. Raise your chest up. Now, I'm going to do one more thing here. Bring the soles of your feet together to a pose we call Baddha Konasana. Just to where you can, bring the feet up, hands behind you, lift the chest up. Take your back ribs in. So you see in these sitting poses, we move the legs in lots of different angles. So the different ways the legs come into the hips, chest up. Quieten your eyes, quieten your face. Release the legs forward. Now today we're going to finish with really just two more poses. I'll get you to watch this next one first, and then I'll actually take you through the pose. So good if you watch the first demonstration rather than try and do, and then I'll actually take you through the pose. So we're going to just lie on your back, and you're going to have your knees bent up. So your feet are just a little forward of your knees, and you're going to hold this outside edge of your mat. From here, you're going to raise your buttocks up, so you're lifting your hips up, and then I'm going to tuck the shoulders a little under. Raise the hips up, lift my chest towards my chin, and then I'm just going to walk the arms a little back, raise the chest up. Now that you're just watching me, just have a look where my legs are. So my knees and ankles are in line. So my shins are pushing upwards to raise the buttocks up. Then you'll come down. So still watching, just so because you won't be able to see once you start to do the pose. You'll press the heels. You lift the buttocks up. My chest comes up. I'm going to tuck the shoulders a little under, raise the chest up. Hips here, the hip sockets, lift them up. These are your back ribs, lift them up, and you release down. So I'm going to get you to lie down now, and you're going to do that. So lie on your back, have your knees bent, bring your feet up towards your buttocks. Take the outer edges of the mat with your hands. Press your heels, raise the buttocks up, tuck the shoulders a little more under, push the chest towards the chin, lift the hips higher up, and release down. Again, soften your jaw before you go up, soften your eyes, don't hold your breath. Press your heels, raise the buttocks up, lift your chest towards your chin. Just tuck your arms a little back, so walk your arms back to lift the chest, move your shoulders back down towards your feet. chest up, buttocks up, and release down. Just stay where you are with your knees bent. Release your hands, release your arms. So just keep your knees bent and just be there for a moment. I'm just going to go through a couple of little things. So we're going to kind of finish now with one last pose, but I'll just mention a couple of things while you're still kind of resting there. Now, a big difference for me is that I'm not seeing you as students. And as a teacher who's been teaching beginners for many, many years, it's really important as a teacher, lots of what I teach comes from what I see. So that can't happen when we're in this situation where I'm essentially talking to a camera. So I would highly recommend, if possible, get to a class where a teacher can see you and the teacher can then be giving you that kind of feedback. Even in a big class, that happens. There's that kind of teachers senses what's going on. A couple of things just I want to mention here, that the type of yoga you're doing. I'm an Iyengar yoga teacher. I'm a senior Iyengar yoga teacher. So the method you are getting through me in a way is what I've been taught by senior Iyengar teachers to me, and that's type of yoga you're getting. So if you're wanting to know more about the type of yoga I'm teaching, seek out an Iyengar yoga teacher where you are, and you'll get something similar to what I've been showing you here today. If you're going to take the time to do yoga, which I highly recommend, and as a teacher I've seen the benefits that yoga can give to people, it's really worth having that input of a teacher. It's such a big subject. It's part science, it's part philosophy, it's part art. It's such a complex subject that it can give you so much. But it's really important, like I've been very lucky through my whole yoga path, is having teachers, and I still have my teachers that I go to, and it's that type of subject where that teacher relationship is a really important part of it. But I know a lot of times people aren't in a position to go to a teacher for various reasons. This is hopefully giving you a bit of a chance to kind of step towards yoga. But even if it's in the future, seek out a teacher to continue that path. Now, this last pose is really important. We do it every class, usually from beginners right through to experience. And it's what we call Shavasana, and it's that kind of resting pose at the end. So I want you to just sit up now if you aren't, just so you can see me, because I want to just show you a little bit what it looks like. Then I'll let you lie down and I'll sit up and I'll talk you through the last part of it. So you're going to kind of begin almost where you just were a moment ago, with your knees bent. So just watching me, because it's really important at this point to see what you're going to be doing. I'm going to go back to one arm, to the other arm, so I'm on my elbows. From here I'm going to look at my knees and my feet and just see that they're straight, they're not off to one side. Then I'm going to go all the way back onto my back, let my head go down, still trying to be in this straight line. So if you imagine the spine, it's straight here ideally. Then I'm going to take one foot out and a little wider than my hips, then the other leg out, a little wider than the hips. Your arms will be by your sides, palms facing up. So this is the very basic position of it. Today we're not going to use any support for the head. I'll go through that next week, but today is just a very simple introduction. If your back doesn't like this when you lie back, I'm going to get you just today simply to have your knees this way. So when you're lying out, if your legs are straight and your back doesn't feel comfortable, just have your knees bent up. So I'm going to come up and I want you to begin in this position. So now the next part I'm just going to guide you through, so you don't really need to see me. So lie on your back with your knees bent up. Have your hands by the sides of your waist. Go back onto your elbows, forearms on the floor. Just look down and see whether your hips are straight, your legs are straight. And now lie your spine back also in that straight line, like you're lying along a line on the floor. Let your head rest down. Your feet hip width apart. Take your legs out one at a time. Take your feet wider than your hips. Now release your arms one at a time out to the side, palms facing up to the ceiling. So ideally you're feeling your, say, roughly straight. Everything is fairly symmetrical. Your right and left leg are about the same on either side. Your right and left arm are the same on either side, and your head sits in the middle. Now I want you to close your eyes. If your back doesn't feel comfortable, bend your knees up and just have your legs bent, feet on the floor. So just take a moment just to observe the back of your body resting down on the floor. Keep your eyes closed. From your big toe towards your little toe, let your legs release out to the side. Now, you're not physically pushing your legs or trying to turn them now. It's actually like you're letting go of if something's holding. Let your thighs rest down towards the floor. So it's as if the bones in your legs were just to become heavy and sink down. Let your eyes remain closed. Feel the back of your legs on the floor, the back of your heels, the back of your knees, the back of your waist. Let your abdomen soften and release down. Feel your shoulders resting evenly, and they might not be even. You might feel you're resting a lot more on one shoulder. That's okay, that's probably normal for most of us. But even begin to notice if the weight feels like it's more on one side than the other. Hands soft. Imagine you had a heavy pebble in the middle of each palm and your fingers are just going to rest away, open gently away from that. Let your head and your skull rest down. Now, right at your back teeth, release your lower jaw away from your upper jaw. Release your tongue to the back of your mouth. Release the skin between your eyebrows to the side. So the skin on your face, let it soften. Let it not grip. Let it become quiet. Now with your eyes closed, and you may need just to keep checking if the eyes want to keep opening, get them closed again. Let the eyes sink back into the skull. Almost as if your eyes were going to sink deeper into your eye sockets. Smooth, soft inhalation. Smooth, soft exhalation. Quiet, steady breath. Eyes quiet, jaw releasing, tongue soft. Be aware of your breath. Now, without opening your eyes, without moving your arms, just bend your right leg up and place the foot on the floor. Bend the left leg up, place your foot on the floor. Now bring one hand up, place the hand across your abdomen. Bring the other arm up, place the hand across the abdomen, still the eyes closed. Now very slowly, and also almost reluctantly, let your eyes open. Still keep your eyes soft. Even though they're opening, keep them soft. Keep your gaze soft. Now roll over to your right side. just wait there a moment. Rest your head on your arm, so bring your left shoulder all the way above. Rest your head on your arm. And now roll a little further over and come up. Just the last couple of things I want to mention. So the way we teach at the Marrickville Yoga Centre, we have a beginner's course, and we offer 10 classes a week, which are all the same class or syllabus of that class in that week. So what we do is we encourage students, they can come to as many of those 10 classes as they like with that beginner's pass. And they'll pick up things, so if they might come 2 or 3 times in that first week, they'll pick something up from each class. So particularly like anything, the more we practice it, the more we understand it, the more we hear. So we encourage the students to get to as many of those classes as they can each week. So for this, what I would highly recommend, you repeat this class, because you might do it once, but you'll only hear a certain amount of things. If you do it 5 times, each time you'll hear something different. It might be the same class, but I assure you, you will hear more and you'll be able to do more. So these foundation things are really good to repeat. And if you're struggling a little bit, if you found it quite tough, repeat it a few more times. And that basic understanding will come. We often have people who encourage them to do the beginner's course a couple of times to really get a solid foundation. And the students say to us that they kind of, each time they do it, they hear a little more, they understand a little more. So these foundation things that you're going to learn are going to be so important for a long-term view of where your yoga goes to. So if you want some more information, have a look at our website. We've got a lot of information about beginners, and we've got some good blog posts about beginners there. And have a look at the next class in this course. Thank you. So that's lesson 1 done. It's probably the hardest of all the classes you do because everything's brand new. So if you can, go and have a look at that one again, practice it one more time, and it will start to make a bit more sense.